He built an empire alone. Walked cold hallways with no one waiting at the end. Until a little boy looked up at him with the same eyes he once saw in the mirror. And the secret she had buried for 4 long years came crashing down. This is how one lie shattered a millionaire. She held her breath as the doctor walked away. His words still echoing in the back of her mind. It's a boy healthy, he looks just like his father. But when she turned to the man standing outside the delivery room, dressed in his gray designer coat, holding his phone tighter than her hand, she knew he wasn't ready to hear the truth. He never was. Jason Wolf. Millionaire CEO. Built like he'd never lost a fight. A man who turned numbers into power and people into deals. He wasn't born rich. He earned every dollar with blood, sweat, and ruthless silence. And now, he stood outside her hospital room, staring at her like she'd just handed him a trap. "You're not the father," she said. Quietly. Firmly. Knowing full well the lie would cut both of them. His face didn't move. Not a twitch. Not even an eyebrow raised. Just a long breath. And then he turned and walked out. No questions. No goodbye. Only the sound of his footsteps, fading like a closing door behind her forever. She didn't cry that night. She held her son in her arms and whispered sorry into his tiny ears 1,000 times. Because it wasn't his fault. And it wasn't Jason's fault either. But she had her reasons. And some truths were too dangerous for a man like him. 4 years later, Jason Wolf hadn't thought about her in years. At least that's what he told himself. His boardroom was made of glass and silence. His days were filled with mergers. His nights with nothing but the sound of stock tickers and empty scotch bottles. No one asked him about love anymore. Not after the tabloids buried the story of the pregnant assistant who vanished. And he never spoke her name. Because saying it felt like bleeding. Until one afternoon, he walked past a school playground on his way to meet a client. His car had stalled. His driver was late. And for the first time in years, Jason Wolf was walking like a normal man. That's when he heard it. A boy's voice. Soft. High. Struggling. "No, don't push me," my mom said. "Stop." Jason turned. And everything inside him stopped too. There he was. A small boy. 4, maybe 5. Pushed to the ground by 2 bigger kids. Clutching a worn-out backpack and blinking away tears. Jason stepped forward. Something in his chest twisted sharply. Not because the boy was hurt, but because he had his eyes. That same golden brown shade. That same focused stare, even while crying. That same jawline that Jason had inherited from his own father. The boy looked up. Met his eyes. And for one suspended second, it felt like time betrayed them both. "Are you okay?" Jason asked, kneeling down, voice trembling more than he realized. The boy nodded, sniffling. "Brave. My mom says not to talk to strangers," he whispered, still not looking away. Jason felt a weight in his lungs. A crack somewhere deep inside. "What's your name?" he asked. "Liam," the boy said softly. Then added, "My mom says I look like my dad." Jason didn't breathe. He couldn't. Because in that moment, everything she had ever said to him came rushing back. All the words she didn't say. All the nights she disappeared into excuses. All the silences that now made sense. And he knew. He knew it before the boy even finished saying, "My mom's name is Eva." Jason didn't blink. Didn't look away. Didn't let his voice shake. "We need to talk," he said again. And this time, Eva nodded. Not because she was ready, but because she knew there was no more running left to do. She glanced at Liam, then back at Jason. "I'll meet you at the park down the street," she said softly. "Give me 15 minutes. Jason nodded. Didn't say another word. He just stood there, watching his son walk away beside her. One small hand holding hers, the other clutching a paper drawing he'd made in class. The boy didn't know. Not yet. But Jason did. And that truth sat like fire behind his ribs. The bench was quiet. Sunlight falling through the trees. Leaves rustling above like old memories. Eva arrived exactly on time. No makeup. No lies left. She sat down across from him. Not beside him. There was still a distance between them. Years wide. Jason didn't look at her right away. He stared at the ground. At the cracks in the pavement. At the shadow of the man he used to be. Then finally, he spoke. "Why?" Eva swallowed hard, but didn't flinch. "Because I was scared," she said. Quietly. Simply. "You said I wasn't the father," Jason said. "You looked me in the eye and said that, like it was the truth." "I know," Eva whispered. "And I hated myself every day for it." Jason finally looked up. His eyes didn't burn with rage. They burned with something deeper. Loss. "You took 4 years from me, Eva." "I know," she repeated, her voice starting to crack. "I would have been there," he said. "I would have shown up. Even if I was scared. Even if I didn't know how to be a father. You didn't give me a chance." Eva looked down, fingers twisting the edge of her scarf. "He was just born, you were drowning in meetings. I thought if I told you, you'd take him like a project. Like something to control." Jason shook his head slowly. "I never wanted to control him. I just wanted to know he existed." Silence. It stretched. Thick. Painful. Eva finally pulled something from her bag. An envelope. Worn. Faded. She handed it to him. "I kept this, but I couldn't bring myself to send it." Jason opened it. A single sheet inside. DNA results. Positive. He read it. Then folded it back slowly. Carefully. As if it might tear the second time. "I had a son," he said. Almost to himself. "For 4 years. I had a son." He stood at the window, looking out over the skyline. Eva behind him. Nervous. Holding a pregnancy test in her hands. He didn't turn around when she said the words. "I'm late." She waited for a reaction. Any reaction. But all he said was, "Let's talk after Tokyo closes." Jason closed his eyes. The guilt seeping in. Too fast to stop. Too late to fix. Eva reached into her bag again. Pulled out a drawing. A child's messy coloring. A man and a boy holding hands. "He draws this sometimes," she said. "Even though he doesn't know who you are. He always says it's someone who looks like me." Jason stared at it. Eyes blurring. "And now?" he asked. "Do you want him to know me?" Eva looked at him. Really looked. "You're not the same man I left," she said. "You look tired, different." Jason nodded. "I am." She breathed in slowly. Then exhaled. "Yes. He deserves to know you." The living room was small. Quiet. Filled with soft toys and warm light. Jason stood awkwardly at the doorway. Liam peeked around the corner. Eva knelt beside him. "Liam, remember the man from school?" The boy nodded. Cautious. Eva held his hand. "This is Jason. He's someone very special. And there's something I want you to know." Jason crouched down, met his eyes, and smiled softly. "I'm your dad," he said, barely above a whisper. "But only if you want me to be." Liam tilted his head, eyes wide, curious. "My dad," he repeated. "Like for real?" Jason nodded, tears clinging to the edges of his lashes. "For real." Liam looked at his mom, then back at Jason. Then suddenly, he stepped forward and hugged him. Small arms around Jason's neck, tiny heartbeat against his chest. And Jason, the man who never cried, let the tears fall freely. Right there, on the living room floor, where he held the little boy who had always been his. The city lights blurred outside the windshield. But for once, he wasn't thinking about stocks, or deadlines, or board meetings. He was thinking about a 4-year-old boy. And how he said, "Can I call you Dad now?" Jason had nodded, voice lost in his throat. "Yes, you can." And he'd smiled, like it was the simplest thing in the world. Like 4 years hadn't been stolen. "Do you like him?" she asked gently. Liam yawned, then nodded. "He talks quiet like he doesn't want to scare me." "I like that." Eva kissed his forehead. "I think he's scared too, sweetheart." "Why?" "Because sometimes when people miss something for a long time it's hard to believe they finally have it." Liam closed his eyes, smiled. "I hope he comes back tomorrow." He stared at the closed door, hand still on the handle. A man frozen between guilt and grace. He had made his billions, bought skyscrapers, silenced competitors. But none of that had prepared him for a 4-year-old boy. And the woman who had once loved him enough to lie. Now, he had a choice to make. He could walk away again. Or he could stay. And try to become the father he never had. He took a deep breath. And turned back to the door. This time, he knocked. Jason knocked gently. Not like a CEO. Not like a man used to being obeyed. But like a father, learning how to come home. The door opened slowly. And Eva stood there. Not in fear. Not in regret. But in quiet disbelief. That he had returned. Jason didn't ask to come in. He just said, "Can I read him a bedtime story?" Eva hesitated. Then stepped aside. Wordlessly. And just like that, Jason Wolfe, the man who once slept in penthouses, now sat cross-legged on a blue carpet, reading Where the Wild Things Are, to a boy he'd only met yesterday. And when Liam curled up beside him, head on his arm, thumb in mouth, Jason didn't move, didn't breathe, didn't want to wake up. If this was a dream, the view was endless. The floor polished, the staff efficient. But Jason wasn't himself. His assistant, Caleb, noticed. "You good, sir?" he asked cautiously. Jason stared out the window. "I met my son yesterday." Caleb blinked. "You have a son?" Jason nodded. "I didn't know. Not until now. He's 4. His name's Liam." There was silence. The kind that doesn't fit in boardrooms. "I need to reschedule Tokyo," Jason said. "And cancel the dinner with Klein and York." "But sir," Caleb hesitated. "That's a $3 million meeting. Jason turned. Face unreadable. But it's not 4 years with my son. And that was the end of the conversation. Liam sat at the kitchen table. Crayons everywhere. Jason beside him, sleeves rolled up. They were drawing each other. Your head's too big, Liam giggled. Yours too, Jason grinned. But mine's full of spreadsheets, so it's allowed. Eva leaned in the doorway. Watching them. Smiling. But also scared. Because it was going too well. And when things go that well, they often don't last. He didn't fight for me back then. But maybe he'll fight for our son now. And maybe that's enough. It was a woman. Sharp suit. Colder voice. Mr. Wolf sent me to begin proceedings. Eva frowned. Proceedings? The woman handed her a file. Joint custody. Full legal acknowledgement. Child support transfers. School trust fund. Eva's hands shook. She hadn't asked for this. She hadn't even processed yesterday yet. I didn't agree to any of this, she said. It's just preparation, the woman replied. Mr. Wolf believes in being thorough. Eva stood in his living room, holding the file. You couldn't even wait a week? Jason looked up. Confused. What are you talking about? You sent a lawyer to my door, Jason. You're already filing custody paperwork? I didn't mean it like that, he said quickly. I just thought, this makes it real. Legal. Safe for Liam. Eva's voice cracked. He doesn't need legal paperwork, Jason. He needs consistency. Emotion. You think signing forms makes you a father? Jason went silent. She continued. Do you even know what he eats? What songs he likes? That he has night terrors if the lights are off? Jason's hands balled into fists. Not in anger. But in shame. I'm trying, he said. I don't know how to do this, I'm learning. But I won't lose him. Eva looked at him. Heartbreaking. Then stopped trying to own him. She walked out. Slamming the door softly. The kind of slam that comes from exhaustion. Not rage. Jason sat beside his bed. In the dark. Small nightlight glowing. Liam stirred. Sleepy. Did you and Mommy fight? He mumbled. Jason sighed. We just didn't agree. Liam turned toward him. Are you still gonna come back tomorrow? Jason swallowed hard. Tears behind his eyes. Yes. Every tomorrow I'm allowed. A 7-year-old boy. Alone in a private school dorm. Letters unopened from a father who never called. He stared at the ceiling. Counting the days between visits. Learning that love never comes when scheduled. And swearing. Someday. He'd never be that kind of father. He didn't knock this time. He waited. And when Eva finally opened the door, she saw something different in his hands. Not flowers. Not papers. But a tiny box. Inside it. A folded piece of paper. I'm withdrawing the lawyer, he said. No custody. No claims. No signatures. Eva frowned. Then what's this? Jason opened it for her. A drawing. Liam's. 2 stick figures holding hands. Labeled, Me and Daddy. I don't want to fight, Jason said. I just want to earn this. Eva looked at the paper. Then at him. What do you want from me? She asked softly. Just trust, he replied. And time. Jason walking Liam to school. Jason learning how to braid tiny shoelaces. Jason burning pancakes in Eva's kitchen. Liam falling asleep in Jason's lap during a cartoon. Eva watching them from the doorway. Smiling. Still unsure. But no longer afraid. There are some things money can never buy. Like first steps. First words. Or the first time a child calls you Dad and means it. I missed those things. But I won't miss what comes next. Not if I can help it. Liam was coughing again. Not the soft kind. The deep kind. The kind that made Eva sit up in the middle of the night and rush to his room. Jason was already there. Holding a damp cloth. Eyes wide with worry. Like he'd been standing there the whole night. He's burning up, he said. Eva, this isn't normal. Eva nodded. Fighting panic. I'll drive. But Jason had already picked Liam up. Wrapped in his coat. And was running down the apartment stairs like a man possessed. Flashing lights. Rushed voices. Clipboards. Jason pacing the hallway. Eva holding Liam's stuffed bear with both hands like a prayer. Is he going to be okay? Jason asked the nurse. Doctors running tests. You'll know soon, she said. But soon was the cruelest word Jason had ever heard. He sat down beside Eva. Neither spoke. Because if either of them said what they were truly thinking, they'd both fall apart. He had bought them. Tiny. Blue. Useless now. He had never seen Liam's first steps. But he wanted to know the feel of fatherhood. Even if it came late. Now he might not get the chance. The doctor's eyes were tired. Her voice clinical. Calm. It's pneumonia early stages. We're monitoring. He's stable for now. But we'll need to keep him for 48 hours. Jason nodded. Slowly. Processing. Then looked at Eva. I'll stay, he said. If that's okay. Eva blinked fast. Then nodded too. Of course. Jason sat in the chair. Beside Liam's bed. Holding his small hand.